For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
We continue to be in a lot of trouble in a number of areas. Topping that list would be crime. We have the high cost of living and the compromises that we are forced to make. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of NewsSpin right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. My name is Timothy Poleon. We'll be together until 2 o'clock this afternoon. In a moment, I'll be hearing from you at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room as we all set for yet another exciting broadcast. NewsSpin is where we discuss the issues of importance to you. It is not all about what matters to me, but it's all about ensuring that we provide you with the opportunity to highlight those issues that are impacting you, because that makes a huge difference. And clearly the evidence shows that we are effective in that you call, you highlight an issue, and almost instantaneously you get some kind of response. In most cases, positive. In other instances, people let you know that they have heard you, but they do not act on your concerns. One of the concerns, obviously, that we have right now is the high crime rate in St. Lucia, particularly homicides. So many of our young people are either being fatally stabbed or they get their lives toughened out through violent crimes involving the use of illegal firearms. One such incident occurring last evening over in Cicero. I'm told that an individual who is believed to be in his 20s succumbed to gunshot injuries and he sustained penetrating wounds to the head. And not for the first time, we have a report from Stacey Joseph of the Emergency Service Department of the St. Lucia Fire Service.
Officers at the Fire Service headquarters responded to an emergency call on Tuesday, August 22nd at approximately 6:40 p.m. The information received stated that there was an alleged shooting incident in Cicero, Castries. The emergency crew found on the scene a male individual appearing to be in his 20s lying motionless on the ground. An assessment of the patient revealed no vital signs and that he sustained several penetrating wounds to his body. Due to the obvious signs of death, the scene was left in the care of the police.
It's Stacey Joseph of the St. Lucia Fire Service. I know that most of you are not shocked because you are inured to what is happening in this country as far as violent crimes, as far as people being shot and injured, people being shot and killed, people being fatally stabbed, people being robbed, home invasions. Let us not get used to this, because these are not ingredients of a civilized society. When incidents of that nature occur in most civilized jurisdictions, there's an uproar. People complain. People take to the streets. People call upon their representatives to do better. In the case of St. Lucia, we make all kind of excuses because we believe that it's normal, but it is clearly not normal. Whether somebody of unsavory character or somebody has a bad track record, bad reputation, that person is shot and killed or injured, etc., when that happens, we all should cry out for justice. We all should be calling on the police, the authorities, community leaders to do better, because we want a society where, we can coexist with each other, where we can invite investors to our shores, where when it matters, when it's warranted, we celebrate a birthday, we go out, we socialize, we engage in various activities, we revel when it is necessary to do so, and then we work hard and we play and we go to school, we go to work. A society has to be organized in that kind of manner. As it stands now, we are in disarray. But what some people like to believe is that everything is great, things are okay. But we must look at things from different perspectives. And so the opposition will highlight those issues, and the government, on the other hand, will tell you about economic growth. And things are okay in St. Lucia. This is a great country. But just listen to what they were saying just a few years ago. Play the tapes, and you'll see the hypocrisy on both sides. Talking about hypocrisy. And our question of the day. For some of you, you might find it unpalatable, unacceptable, the phrasing of the question. But when you see certain things on television, when you have certain things, when you hear certain people speak, obviously, it conjures certain images. And so our question of the day, is it a secret why they kiss white butts on certain occasions? The question of the day, once again, is it a secret why they kiss white butts on certain occasions? We thought that this wouldn't have happened just prior to the last general election and under a St. Lucia Labour Party regime. We thought there would not be any kind of sword-turning ceremony involving our black St. Lucian politicians and ministers and white investors. But that is exactly what transpired yesterday. Now, I am no racist, but we know what transpired a few years ago. Up to now, the rhetoric tells us there are people who want to divide St. Lucia, and they have successfully done so along racial lines. We can't have a white prime minister. We can't have a coolie minister. They're practicing xenophobia as well. We can't have a Guyanese tourism minister. As if we should not be embracing each other and see it as us being human beings, members of the global community, as opposed to being black, white, etc., Indian, and if you want to disparage, coolies, and all that. So that is the kind of hypocrisy. During the reign of the previous administration, white people, we're giving all away our lands and selling all our lands to white people, friends, family, and foreigners. Then we see our local politicians hobnobbing, rubbing shoulders with white investors. What does that tell you? That we don't have a choice. We need each other. Let us not look at things from that kind of prism of white or black when it suits us. I mean, looking at the video there, imagine, I could just see the Prime Minister saying, I'm not a racist, I'm not a racist. Irrespective of what I've said before, I'm not a racist. We are all in this together, and we welcome the fact that, you are expanding, you have this brand that you bring into St. Lucia, and we're branding the St. James's Club Morgan Bay to Secrets, all-inclusive resort. I welcome all those projects, but I don't like the hypocrisy, don't like the double standard, don't like the contradictions. They're just too palpable. They're just too much in your face. So now the Prime Minister will tell you thousands of jobs will be created. We love that this will happen. We welcome that because too many of us in St. Lucia, too many people in this country are unemployed, while we have an increase in the cost of living. Inflation is sky high. You have taxes being imposed on people, 2.5% levy, under the guise of using that money to finance health services and to secure us. Secure us in the process. People are getting killed. Let me not say people are still getting killed, because just a few days since this came into effect, people are getting killed. You provide the police with motorcycles and vehicles. A number of people are still complaining. You call the police stations and you're still told we have no transportation. We cannot attend to your concerns. The St. Lucia Labour Party did a disservice to itself and to the people of St. Lucia whilst in opposition. It created that picture that, we don't need foreign investment. We just don't need it in St. Lucia. It created that image of, let us handle things on our own. Let us build our own hotels. Let St. Lucians own them. All the lands in St. Lucia should be owned by St. Lucians. And we can do it among ourselves, and we don't need foreign investment. Every time you had a foreign investor in this country, what would happen is it seemed automatic that the St. Lucia Labour Party and the operatives would decry that project, would attack that project. Cabot is one example, without looking at the benefits that can be accrued from such projects. But now they're singing a different tune. I am not suggesting that we should sell all our lands and give all our lands to foreigners. I mean, the lands are there. Unfortunately, most of us in St. Lucia are not industrious. Unfortunately, 3-4 St. Lucians are not saying that they will form some amalgamation, come together, and work on some impressive project. Let's say the construction of a huge hotel, because that's all what we're into. If a government does not construct a hotel in St. Lucia during its tenure, it has failed. That is the impression that is being given, as if we should not be paying attention to things like carrying capacity, the number of visitors that we invite to our shores, so that it do not become a burden and there isn't the exploitation of our resources. A number of countries are doing this. I think Anguilla is one such country. But let us hear from DBS's Zin Romulus, reporting on the St. James's Club Morgan Bay being rebranded as a Secrets all-inclusive resort.
The long-talked-about Secrets Resort's establishment in St. Lucia moved one step closer to becoming a reality with Tuesday's groundbreaking ceremony, signaling the commencement of construction of the property. The Secrets St. Lucia Resort and Spa, when opened, will have 351 guest rooms and suites, 16 food and beverage outlets with 6 fine dining options, the Secrets Spa by Pivonia, and a fitness center.
The development of Secrets St. Lucia Resort and Spa reinforces both Hyatt and the Inclusive Collection's unwavering commitment to growth throughout this destination, and this new resort is a benefit to the local St. Lucian community through a variety of opportunities. As a brand that brings sophisticated couples seeking a luxurious romantic gateway, Secrets St. Lucia Resort and Spa looks forward to welcoming guests celebrating life's special moments to this breathtaking destination.
The resort will be the brand's 22nd location. In addition to attracting new visitors, the resort is expected to help provide employment opportunities for locals. Tourism Minister Dr. Ernest Hilaire used the opportunity to reassure the new owners from the Mullen Real Estate capital of the wisdom of their decision to set up shop on the island.
I believe St. Lucia is an exceptional destination. I believe our people add tremendously to our extraordinary physical beauty that we offer. So to the family, I want to say to you that the decision to invest in this property will be worth it. St. Lucia is a worthy destination. It is a preferred place for investment, and you've made the right decision.
The minister expressed high hopes that the project would be completed quickly. However, the CEO of Mullen Real Estate Capital went to great lengths to explain the complexity of the project, being careful to point out that all the architecture and engineering was being completed by local talent. The acquisition of the local property, he explained, is in keeping with the company's investment strategy, which, apart from creating unique experiences for guests, also created opportunities for local stakeholders.
With the help of many people here in attendance today, we have embarked on a journey to convert an existing hotel into a Secrets Resort and Spa St. Lucia brand, a brand we helped pioneer, defining unlimited luxury and romance, a brand that attracts year-round guests from the most important source markets. Today marks an important milestone in this journey. It's the day we stop drawing things on paper and start constructing them.
Considering the amount of work to be done, the CEO says the company has set an ambitious target of opening the resort within 12 months. Prime Minister Philippe Pierre, while welcoming the new resort owners to the island, encouraged them to be responsible investors, promoting compliance to labor standards.
The government will do whatever we have to do. We will obey the law, and we will create the enabling environment for you not only to continue construction of the hotel, but to build another one. My minister said that he's not making a sales pitch. I make no apologies. I'm making a sales pitch. My pitch is for you, although your hotel is called Secrets, my pitch for you is not to keep St. Lucia secrets. To tell people that Secrets is in St. Lucia and they must come to St. Lucia to enjoy that Secrets.
Prime Minister Pierre also expressed high hopes that the presence of the resort here would benefit a broader cross-section of citizens than those directly employed with the hotel. Through the linkages, he hopes it will establish with other sectors. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
Thank you very much, Zane, for this report, which was aired during the DBS News World last evening. Good afternoon to you, Kimani. I'm sure there's a lot that you can report on from the chat room.
Good afternoon, Tim. We have a few comments. Someone says, I just hate to see people comparing crime in St. Lucia and other parts of the world. We must watch our house and not others. Another comment, someone says, let's see, I can't see this comment. Someone says, so we are happy with another all-inclusive, well, SMH. Another comment, someone in the chat room says, I don't see one country in the world where the crime rate is not high. Another comment.
But we can be an exception.
Can we?
Yeah, we can be an exception. I mean, per capita, we have the most Nobel laureates. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that we boast about. So can we put ourselves in a position when we can say that as a small territory, unlike other parts of the world, that we have managed the crime level in our country? I know people like to say that we like to make reference to Singapore, but through the actions of the leaders of that country, they have managed to bring crime under some level of control. Mm-hmm. So we can do it. Let us not say that this guy's house is burning, then ours, it's automatically ours will burn, and let's not do anything about it. There are measures that we can put in place to ensure it does not happen.
Someone says, Tim, I have not had water since Saturday in Dennery Village, and to date, Wasco Saglo have yet to come out of any notification.
Well, everywhere people don't have water, so why should we complain? I mean, Antigua doesn't have water. Barbados have the same problem. We have a number of other countries. So you see, we if we work studiously, we certainly, and if we work with a level of determination, we can address a lot of our challenges. Because you realize, Kimani, I don't know if you realize, but a lot of those are recurring problems. They have been with us for a very long time. We have just been ignoring those problems, government after government. Take the water problem. Mm-hmm. Whether we're in the rainy season, we have a water problem. The dry season, we have a water problem. But people can identify the problem. Well, Wasco and its aging infrastructure. But what are we doing about it? We prefer to, engage in sword-turning ceremony, and then we have the white people there opening hotels. What we're doing is taking the easy way out of a lot of our problems. And then if we have another 9/11, if we have a COVID-19, then those hotels remain closed, then the workers are sent home, and we are back to square one. We are just not innovative.
In the chat room, someone says, isn't this the same people behind Zoetry, Apple Leisure Vacations, and Hyatt? This just seems like a revolving door of company names and brands. Nothing new in terms of capacity or employment. It's a rebranding, not a new property. Another comment in the chat room, someone says, one thing, I'm proud of my government. Bon. That's it in the chat room, Tim.
We have a WhatsApp message from yesterday. Once again, we open the lines right now to take your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. A very long WhatsApp message from yesterday. I watched on the news the opening of the Massey in Dennery, and I listened to the remarks made by the MP for Dennery South. I agree that this is progress and convenience for the community. However, what must not be lost in the move towards big business is the role and contribution of the small community shops, the tea boutique. They have built and maintained that community spirit and also still continue to give credit, something that Massey does not do. The MP in his remarks mentioned that he wants to see all the services provided by Massey at that Dennery location. He mentioned that he is pleased that the pharmacy is also there. Is he aware that there is a pharmacy a few yards away on the opposite side of the highway? Note that I'm not affiliated with that business. I'm simply a product of a small community shop decades ago and will always appreciate the community spirit and positive impact of a small shop. At this stage of our development, Let us find the right mix and balance for both micro, small, and big business. Let us not adopt the concept, for example, where in the United States, when the Walmarts move into an area, the small mom and pop shops have to literally close up shop. We want to hear from our MPs and other government officials the importance of the survival of the community tea boutique, that they should continue to be supported and patronized, that they also have helped build and sustained the heart and soul of most communities in St. Lucia. At the end of it all, we want the emphasis to be on coexistence. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
Timothy, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Timothy, with that 2.5% health and security levy, Timothy, that's supposed to come in effect on the 2nd of October, after all the rush and all this thing. Timothy, again, Timothy, I'm calling on you. You need to bring in somebody like, there's that guy who calls your program very often. Yesterday he called concerning the Alfred lady. Can't remember the name right now. So I'm telling you that if you could bring him to...
Well, I will not bring, I will invite.
Invite him, sorry. Mr. Myers.
Because you can't force anybody to appear on your program.
Sorry, but you could invite him. And he listens to your program.
If I could have forced the Prime Minister to appear on NewsSpin or Newsmaker, I would have done it. But I continue to invite him.
Let's not go there. The PI only goes to turn sword with white people now, okay? So, Timothy, no, on a serious note.
Yeah.
Timothy, that thing going to affect St. Lucian, every single St. Lucian. Timothy, check the bad thing about that, Timothy. Timothy, that thing going to be placed, that 2.5 going to be placed on your CIF. That means you have a 2.5 added to your duty you're already paying when your stuff gets into the country. Timothy, you're not going to lose that 2.5, right? You have to add that, calculate that, and add that to the price of your goods. And in return, you have to, when you're retailing, you have to charge your customer another 2.5 to be paid to government. But the worst thing about it, Timothy, that 2.5%, okay, for instance, like the assistant controller of Inland Revenue says that if a product is $100, with the 2.5 add on it, that's $102.50. And thereafter, Timothy, when you add that, is after you add that, because they said the VAT is a final tax. That's when the VAT going to be added to that, Timothy. Right? So you have the goods was $100, with the 2.5 it's going up to $102.50, and then the 12.5% tax going to be added to that. Timothy, we need people, like before you used to have all these town hall meetings, right? We need people to go out to the community there, not with just somebody speaking English. We need somebody to speak in Creole, in Patois, to explain to these people out there who will be directly affected by that. You know, when you speak about these things, people will tell you it's a small tax. Timothy, it is not a small tax, Timothy, because when you put it together, it's like 5% more. Because remember the 2.5 on your CIF value, then your 2.5 on your retail. Things are going to go back up in the supermarket sky high. Timothy, you'll hear all people calling for an increase in this, because that will be applied to tires, vehicle spare parts. The service, Timothy, this vehicle service at the garage. You know, people are just taking these things lightly. If you realize how the government come in with that thing there, it's something to rip out St. Lucians, Timothy. It is not just come there and say like that, yes, it's a small tax. And they're telling you on goods and services. And up to now, they have not told you what services it will not be applied to. You understand? That will be applied to all kind of services, because when you have a funeral, you pay for a service as a church. Let us know, yes, church are exempted from paying taxes and this thing. But what about the funeral? What about the funeral home? Let people know when you come in and do this thing are going to affect people, Timothy. You have to come out and explain to them. Have both Patois and English programs to drive that to the people. So that's why I'm asking you. I'm sending the invitation out there to on behalf of you to Mr. Frank Myers and the others. People like Aussie Boy, come out on the program. Even though we have to get airtime is expensive, it costs money. We could get sponsors to educate the people. NewsSpin is one of the most listened. It's not one of. It's the most listened to talk show in St. Lucia. We need to, Timothy. People are just taking that thing for joke, Timothy. That thing gonna have a ripple effect on every St. Lucian. because you're going to be paying that on even on your electricity bill, because the government haven't tell you what that's going to be excluded from it. So, Timothy, we need the people out there, all the voices we used to hear before. I know most of them in jobs now, they're okay. They don't care if anything. They don't. You understand what I'm telling you? So the 2.5% will not do them nothing. But, Timothy, the ordinary man, like yourself, myself, and other people that cannot afford it, Timothy, I'm telling you, if you read into that thing carefully, those that can read into it, Timothy, it will have a serious effect on every St. Lucian. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Caller, it's very difficult these days to get anybody of substance, people who are impartial. We have to have, independent thinkers in this country who can come forward and speak intelligently and boldly and honestly on issues that are affecting this country. I think those people are in a coma, and they are afraid primarily because of the majority that the government enjoys in Parliament. And they're fearful of what the government can do with that majority. I don't know if there is any justification for the fear that they have. I really don't know. But free expression is something that is under serious threat in St. Lucia these days. And has been so for a little while, but probably it is more acute right now. And maybe it is self-imposed. Some people are just afraid they might not get contracts, they will not get certain opportunities, they will not get certain jobs. Some people, their friends, will neglect them, will not speak to them, etc. But in the final analysis, the country will suffer as a result, because we need it for there to be the free flow of ideas in our country, irrespective of which political party is in office. What the Prime Minister has to say about people who are taking on the high cost of living in this country. We'll hear from Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre in just a moment, as you continue to watch NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as on YouTube, and listen on Power 97.9 FM.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Introducing the new Lou Select Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, LouSelect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. Lou Select's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
You asked for it and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay. Flow is keeping you connected.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miko Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Automotive art is a place to start.
Automotive Art is now bigger and better with bargains galore. Automotive Art has expanded. With new exciting products and increased shopping comfort, we welcome you to visit. Celebrate with us and take advantage of our specials. New tires starting at $129, 25% off all tools and accessories, up to 75% off rims, BOGO specials, car care bundles, and other bargains galore. Automotive Art, bigger and better.
Art is a place to start.
Kimani, what's in the chat room?
Someone in the chat room says, Myers is just another Timothy. Another comment, can I remind the SLP supporters and politicians that in opposition they called the hotels plantations on the beach. Today it's hotels. Another comment, if Shas was that good, he would be Prime Minister presently. Someone says, bury people in their backyards. There are benefits. Another comment in the chat room. Someone says, let's see. Tim, I don't think most of these comments are worth reading.
Okay. Those guys are misbehaving in the chat room. It will appear, right? Let's see if we have another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Yeah, Tim, how you all doing?
I'm okay, sir. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah, what's in your mind?
Just 2 minutes with you there.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, this thing about, people always calling and saying, this country have it too, what happened, it cannot happen here and so on. I'm not calling anybody stupid, but only stupid people say things like that. That because a country have that one, there's nothing wrong with my country having it. This is why you see that government after government, you hear the same thing over and over. Because everybody come in, most people come in, this government, he was doing it. What happened? This government cannot do it.
I mean, why can't we set our own standards? What's wrong with that?
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I want to ask these people one thing, okay? The children go to school, or our children go to school, because that child is at school and he's using drugs. Oh, so what happened? That child using drugs, my child can use drugs too. I want to ask them if they're going to say something like that. Or if they're going to come and be different and tell the child, look here, do not keep company with that young man. He's dangerous. This, that about drugs and so on. There's consequences for these things. Are we going to say that one doing it or my child can do it too? We look at something. You said something that I think I heard right. Because to tell the truth, I don't really listen to news anything these days. My health is better. But I think about my country a lot, and I have to. You said something that something like people will get so accustomed with these things happening, people cutting people belly, shooting people, and so on. I said that about 8 months ago. I told one of my workers, man, that thing is getting out of hand. And you know something? People are going to get so accustomed because I know we solutions. We complain and then after 2 days, we finish. People are going to get so accustomed with that when it happened, like nothing happened, like just some rain fell last night, and that's all. And it's a very, 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 very sad thing. But I want to encourage these people around that is standing up against everything that's ungodly, everything. Sometimes you pay a price for standing up for righteousness. But the price worth it because we don't have to think about ourselves alone. We have to think about the future of St. Lucia, the future of our children. I want people to start looking at their grandchildren, the children when they go home, and say, would I want my child to be like this? Would I want this country to be like a communist country, that my child have the freedom and so on? Will I want this to happen and that to happen? We don't ask ourselves. I think most of us will just go home, take a bottle of rum or beers or whatever and just put it on our throat, and we don't care about tomorrow. And let me tell you something. Only a fool will sit down and say he don't care about tomorrow. We got to be concerned about tomorrow. Team, anyway, thanks very much, and I hope we St. Lucians that we change our attitude towards a lot of things in St. Lucia, and then we'll see some light. God bless you. Take care.
Same to you, sir. Thank you so much for calling. I would like to believe that we have it within us to make a serious difference, to make a dent as far as our crime problem, the state of the economy, and so on. I'd like to believe also that we have a group of men and women who definitely can tackle head-on those challenges. But considering that you have to lie, you have to pretend, I'm sure that those people of principle, people of a particular class, decorum, etc., will not want to get involved in politics. But I am sure, I am convinced that we have men and women in St. Lucia who definitely can improve the situation, because it is all about taking the system and turning it on its head, doing something that is totally different from what is being done right now. Let me see if I have some of your WhatsApp messages to go through right now. I think I have one. Somebody says there, good afternoon, Tim. Mr. Prime Minister, did I see you shaking the hands of the white men? How did it feel? I've never seen you so happy. 452-2979, 452-2979. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air.
Hi, Tim. Good day to you.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, Manny.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Tim. According to Requeen, the passport issue, that seems to be dead now, because I'm not hearing anything more about the passport office being opened. The minister has gone silent. St. Lucian has gone silent, so it's as if everything is okay now.
We have gotten used to it. That's what happened to us.
We have gotten used to it,
Yeah.
So it's no longer an issue, and everybody's quiet. Nobody says nothing. Tim, I find it is so disrespectful for this government, the way that St. Lucians are being treated right here in St. Lucia. It's very disrespectful. But if the people figure they are okay, nobody agitates for anything, well, it's okay with them. Let them continue that way. Let us see how far, we can go with that attitude. Team, I think since on Wednesday or Thursday, I have had no running water from Wasco in my tap. Okay, so I think it's something.
And where do you live?
I live in La Claire.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a while.
That's just a few.
Yeah.
That's across Wasco's headquarters, eh?
To Wasco. It's
Yeah.
actually within walking distance to Wasco. And we haven't had water for almost 8 days now, basically.
But don't complain. It happens everywhere. Don't complain.
But that's what I'm saying. Why complain? It happens everywhere. Don't complain. But I'll still highlight, the issues.
But let me just tell you, how long people have been speaking about this problem with Wasco?
For eons, Tim. Eons.
And what will be done about it? This is, in the run-up to a general election, this is never an issue.
No.
People never speak about that. Those are not the areas of concern for our voters, electors, or for the people who are seeking high office. They never speak about the water problem in this country as if it does not exist or it's unimportant.
By that, it doesn't mean that you support red or yellow. It doesn't matter. All of us are being affected, for not having water. So like I said again, St. Lucians, they seem to be pretty happy with whatever is happening. Nobody's talking. Nobody's saying anything. Team, another subject that I want to touch on, the 80 plus, how do you call it? For the health.
Yeah. For senior citizens.
Right, for senior citizen. My mom is 80 plus. Right now, I have to go to the pharmacy to get her medication for her. I went to the hospital. They said, the pharmacy said, go in town. I said, okay, do you mean the pharmacy in town? She said, no. So I said, okay, so are you asking me to go to a private pharmacy? She said, yes. So if there is no medication, what happens? You have it on paper, but my mom is not getting the medication. I have to go and purchase it for her at the private pharmacy. So what's the point? Something else. Again, I heard them mention about getting your air checked, I think.
Yeah.
For like once a year. Like I said before, that was always a free service.
Mm-hmm.
So adding that on doesn't make any sense. It was always a free service for the citizens, senior citizens, because I have taken my mom there. But after your air is checked and it is determined that you need hearing aids, what happens, Tim? Where do you go from there? Is the government going to provide, or facilitate for you to get hearing aids? Are they going to be contributing to part payment for you to get the hearing aids? What happens? Okay, you need hearing aids. What happens? I would like somebody to answer that question. Somebody from the Ministry of Health. I would like that question answered. Because yes, you cannot hear. So what's the point if you're not being helped? And hearing aid is very expensive. Something else, this something that was this not new hotel, this existing hotel that's been taken over by other entities. I'm not sure if St. Lucians are aware, but I think that's one of the, again, I'm subject to correction, but I think that's a nude hotel. Okay, so it's coming here now too. I think St. Martin has it. I think some other countries have it. But from what I'm being told, it's one of those nude hotels where people can walk about naked. Again, like I said, subject to correction.
Let's see if we could get a clarification from the Ministry of Tourism officials, those people who are at the signing ceremony,
yes.
Tourism officials on this issue.
We would like to know.
Yes.
We would like to know. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it if it's going to bring revenue, but I think they need to come and let us know exactly what to expect. And also, Tim, I think hundreds of young people left school last month.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of any job creation for those young people?
Not over any, but I'm sure those children would have sent out, or young people have sent out applications to
yes,
businesses on the island.
Yeah, so what do they do, Tim? What is the answer for those young people? Because I have not heard of any job creation. So what are they going to do? The youth economy is going to support them. They're going to start their own businesses. So again, like I said, questions to be answered. So let us see what happens. But I would like the minister, I still would like the minister to let us know, even though St. Lucians do not care, but I care. I need for the minister to come and let us know when this new passport office is going to be opened. It's about time. Tim, I think I also gave you some homework regarding the land registrar.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you that they were opening from 8 to 1, I think. And it has been like that from May. So, again, there's no, the public, as far as I'm aware, it was not in the news. So it's only when you go there that you are aware that the place is open up until 2 o'clock, either 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock. But why? No reason is given.
Well, we know the usual concern. Honestly, I did not call any of the officials on this issue, neither the CSA. But we could always guess it's because of mold.
Yes, they said health issues. But what I'm saying, team, if you spend half the on the premises,
you're still exposed to it.
That you're not exposed to whatever is out in the atmosphere.
Yeah, you're still exposed.
And not only that, what about the persons who are coming into the building, the customers? Are we not affected as well?
But maybe my good friend, Mr. McSteven Albertine, can call NewsSpin of the CSA to explain.
I would love for one of them to call and clarify and give us the reasons and why it's not been highlighted, why everything is so quiet and nobody knows anything.
Okay.
Okay, team.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right.
So, Lord help me, Max Stephen Albertine, if you care to, you could call. Maybe you could speak like a Barbadian and explain to me what is the situation there at the Land Registry Department. What's the message? Honestly, I'm actually fed up with this government as a young individual trying to make it in St. Lucia. We have no minimum wage. We don't have a health care, everyday taxes, grocery prices rising every day. This government is not for the people. So you're talking about the high cost of living in St. Lucia. We'll hear from the Prime Minister how he describes people, some individuals have been speaking about inflation and the high cost of living in this country, because for him, maybe that is not a reality. He cannot, all of a sudden, he cannot identify with that problem. We have a call. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello.
Yes, Tim. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
And good afternoon to all of your listeners. Tim, I have a question for you. Did you at any time indicate to the government that you were happy with the decision to leave the Privy Council and go to the CCJ?
No, I never expressed any clear opinion on this particular issue, sir.
Okay. So, Tim, are you aware that that the government would have represented to the UK Parliament that the decision to leave the Privy Council to go to the CCJ was a decision of the government and people of St. Lucia?
I think I read somewhere something to that extent.
But Tim, how can it be a decision of the government and people if the people were not involved?
But weren't you challenging the government on this? What is the outcome of this matter?
Well, Tim, it is still before the court. There are certain things that need to be done. I'm still working on getting some assistance from our lawyers, which has been a bit disappointing because these are matters that, the lawyers on their own. I know there is a cost attached to it, but, as a duty to the people, these are matters that the lawyers ought to really look into. It's unfortunate that it is at that stage, and we don't have the lawyers readily coming on board. Although I must say that I've had fruitful discussions with some lawyers where this is concerned, and I'm hoping that this wrong will be corrected at some point, because yes, the UK Parliament has given the go-ahead because it was represented to them that it was a decision that the people acceded to.
Yeah,
and,
but Colin, the people complained about this. The people took to the streets. They demonstrated.
Well, I don't know that people demonstrated, but I don't know that they actively participated in terms of indicating that they wanted that change. And you see,
but they have not demonstrated. They did not want the CCJ to be our highest court. They have not demonstrated that.
Yeah, but you can't assume that because they are not demonstrating that they are given in their consent.
No, but through the actions, through the actions.
Well, Tim, you know why a lot of things do not happen. And
I don't know. In this particular case, I really don't know, sir.
No, but there's the victimization that a lot of people are fearful of.
No, Colin, let's put it. In this particular instance, you think people really care about this, whether the CCJ or the Privy Council? Do you think the majority of St. Lucians really care? Not that I'm saying that's the approach we should adopt.
Well, but there are people who care. There are people who care, and the way to deal with it is not to force people to.
Yeah, but those who care should demonstrate that. Demonstrate the interest.
Yeah, but a handful of people cannot go and say they demonstrated.
No, Colin, no. But you're wrong.
In protesting.
But you're wrong. You see what's happening in a number of other countries. In Barbados, in Jamaica, in Trinidad. All it takes is a couple of people to come together and to demonstrate their opposition to something. and then others might just follow, or the government, the authorities might take heed.
Yeah, that's true, Tim. But the procedure that is outlined in the Constitution is not about demonstration. It's about, there have been certain processes to follow. And if they are not followed...
So what I'm saying to you in effect, calling a talk show and just complaining about this will not take you anywhere. That's what I'm saying to you, Ikola. That's what I've been saying to you forever.
No, but Tim, it's making people aware.
But how long will you continue to do so? How long will you adopt that kind of approach?
As long as it takes to get as many people sensitized to what has been happening.
Shouldn't you change your tactics?
Well, you can always try other tactics, but I think, it is not everybody who's been listening to NewsSpin. Yes, a few people, you have a few hundreds of people listening to NewsSpin on a daily basis. Most of them the same set of people, but in terms of getting the information to the wider public, I think as many times as it is put
okay,
out there,
don't you think the authorities will see you as a nuisance, one, or they will just not listen to you? They will not take you seriously?
I won't be the first.
Mm.
We have seen other people as nuisance, and what has happened from that. At the end of the day, it's not how the authorities see me. It is me putting that information out there, educating people on their rights. And it doesn't really matter to me one way or the other how the authorities look at it.
Okay, thank you so much for calling, sir. All right, Kimani, what's in the chat room?
Tim, I'm out there fighting for my life for a relationship I wasn't even aware I was in.
That's happening in the chat room?
Yes, Tim.
Oh, my God.
Someone says all passport services have resumed function at the Lamar building on Bridge Street with regular opening hours. Applications are processed only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Collections are processed on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I haven't seen any publication of this but found out recently, so I figured I should share to help someone else save time. Someone says, my mom is 83 years old. She has been back and forth to the hospital. The hospital always calls us to come pay the hospital bill. If 80 plus gets free healthcare, why is my mom still having to pay for her hospital bill and also her medication? Another comment. Someone says, losing elections is like losing a loved one for these UWP. That's why Lazarus is advertising. They're constantly mourning their 2021 loss. Someone says, but Tim, you are one of them and you don't want to run to make the difference in St. Lucia. Another comment, if you all were more independent, you all would not be tracking the government like this. Someone is asking you, Tim, can you please call Shazi to ask about the restrictions soon to be implemented in 4 months, an eight year? And another person responded saying it already exists for French and some other Europeans traveling to Canada or the USA. Very easy process. I actually prefer that than applying for a visa. The issue is whether this is needed in addition to the many other documents which are currently required, such as the lodging certificate and the insurance, to name a few. So a few people in the chat room were discussing that we would soon be needing some type of document to travel to countries like Martinique and Europe. Someone says lots of people will be malnourished because they will have insufficient money to buy food to put on the table.
I think for the government, that is not much of an issue. And on this occasion, I'll use the word unfortunate. And this was demonstrated by the Prime Minister of St. Lucia during a town hall meeting yesterday. This kind of nonchalant response, the kind of I don't care response, the kind of trivializing the issue response when it comes to discussing matters relating to the high cost of living, the high cost of groceries. I mean, people complain about it all the time. That is the new reality. That is the new challenge that people have to confront. And turn left, turn right, move forward, move backward. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. And that is a serious dilemma for you, whether you are male or a female, and you have to take care of your household. That is something that you cannot ignore. That is something you cannot postpone. Feeding your family. So we'll be hearing from the political leader of the SLP and Prime Minister of St. Lucia in just a moment. méprising, being petty. You'll hear from him in just a moment. So you are watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page as well as on YouTube and on Power 97.9 FM.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
To protect appliances from lightning, rain, and floodwater damage, unplug them, then turn off the main switch. Lightning can produce electrical surges which can damage equipment. Protect your electronics from water damage as well. Make sure you have flashlights, battery-powered radios, and extra fresh batteries available. Be smart, stay safe.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Get ready for the second annual Zouk a Blanc, presented to you by Project Chocolat, Saturday 30th September from 7 p.m. featuring St. Lucia's #1 band, TYP. The always exciting Ezra, the Fun Machine, and our finest DJ, Hollywood HP, and DJ Shocking. Savor an evening of elegance, souk, and old school rhythms in the heart of Soufrière at Project Chocolat. Secure your tickets for just $80. Grab yours at any sell outlets island-wide or at Mambo's Bar in Soufrière. Tickets are also available online. Zouk a Blanc, a touch of white, where island vibes and cuisine meets pure sophistication.
Admission $100 at the door.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date this and every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
I lead a rich, rewarding life.
Automotive art is a place to start. Automotive art is a place to start.
Yeah, look, check. We got a wide range of products that are automotive and do-it-yourself supplies if you got a moment. Smart staff that'll always know it. Got rims and tires from trucks to high performance to off-roading. Start hair tools, batteries, oil, and car care.
Automotive art is a place to start.
This broadcast, over the last few months, we've been dealing with the reality of the high cost of living in this country. What you are living every day in St. Lucia when you go to the supermarkets, when you do something that is unavoidable, when you have to take money wherever it is, try to get the money to feed your family, and you realize that there's a high rate of inflation in this country. And the value of your money is on the decline on a daily basis. The response from the Prime Minister as far as those people who are speaking on those issues, who are highlighting those problems, speaking at a town hall meeting of his St. Lucia Labour Party yesterday, this is what he said.
The cost of living that they always make a big fuss about, the price of everything going up, and what the government is doing, all of them, short and tall, what the government is doing, how can we reduce, why is the cost, why the cost of goods going up? And and they get personal and do all kind of things. The cost of living that they always make a big fuss about, the price of everything going up, and what the government is doing, all of them, short and tall, what the government is doing, how can we reduce, why is the cost, why the cost of goods going up? And they get personal and do all kind of things.
So one of the Prime Ministers may present certain people, I mean the hacks in the background. This is so laughable on many fronts. But this is very, very serious. It's a serious issue that we experience in this country. A Prime Minister of the country, I wonder if BJP, the P stands for petty. I wonder if that's what it is. If you're discussing an important issue, the Prime Minister comes across as if we are complaining about the high cost of living, as if there's no justification for complaining about the high cost of living. The challenges that people face on a daily basis because you don't go to the supermarket, Mr. Prime Minister, and you don't understand what people are going through, does not mean that the evidence is there. The empirical evidence is there that people are hurting and people will complain. People will speak about it. People will ask of you, Mr. Prime Minister, what you are doing about it. And you believe the way out of this dilemma is to say, those short and those tall. I mean, you are making a mockery of yourself, Mr. Prime Minister. And on the face of it, I suspect, as a result of your behavior, as a result of the buffoonery that comes from you, I mean, people are just not taking you seriously on so many fronts. And let's listen to the Prime Minister of a country, the Prime Minister of St. Lucia again, because he knows he can say it and get away with it. He knows that his audience will applaud him. His audience will laugh, will guffaw, will revel in the mockery that he's making of the people of this country.
The cost of living that they always make a big fuss about, the price of everything going up, and what the government is doing, all of them, short and tall, what the government is doing, how can we reduce, why is the cost,
a high cost of living that they are making a fuss about. You listen how he's addressing this sensitive issue? The high cost of living that they are making a fuss about. So let's play the clip again and then we'll continue with your calls right here on NewsSpin.
The cost of living that they always make a big fuss about, the price of everything going up, and what the government is doing, all of them, short and tall, what the government is doing, how can we reduce, why is the cost, why the cost of goods going up? And they get personal and do all kind of things.
We don't get personal, huh? We're just dealing with the reality on the ground. We sympathize with people who are suffering in this country, and we understand what it is to go to the supermarket almost on a daily basis for some people and to see the prices beyond the reach of so many people in this country. 452-2979, WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Good afternoon, you're on the air.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Interesting. A few years ago, I wonder who was the one saying everything was going up. I wonder who it was. But that is for others to find out. And Timothy, what has become of the unions, the different unions? What has become of them? They've become very quiet.
You'll have to call the various unions, call the Civil Service Association. But I do hear from the National Workers Union from time to time, but I don't hear about the other unions.
Consumer Association who used to check into the cost of certain things. Nobody not saying anything now. Everybody quiet. Now, Timothy, where are those who used to beat the pans? All of those pans are now cooking in the kitchen and it's burning. It's really burning up. I'm wondering what is happening to those pans. But Timothy, that's not what I'm calling about. Timothy, I think by now you should expect anything from the Prime Minister. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't feel bad. Don't feel because this is what to expect from the Prime Minister. You shouldn't be surprised.
Well, no, I'm surprised because...
No, I'm not.
I'll tell you why I'm surprised, because it is unacceptable. Not unfortunate, you know. That kind of behavior is unacceptable. And if we want to move forward as a country, we ought not to tolerate it.
Yes, we have to have respect. And Timothy, listen to this, huh? He said, short and tall. And everybody, gigi. Now, in St. Lucia, there was a time when we used to say Black Lives Matter. But however, Black lives only matter for when it pertains to a white dealing with a black. That's the only time it matters. Apart from that, if it is a black dealing with a black, Black lives don't matter. Where is the organization that's called Black Lives Matter? Where is it now? Where are the persons who were pushing the Black Lives Matter? Where are they now? I heard there was a contention with bus drivers and one was killed. Where is the organization about Black Lives Matter, even for black people, you know? Not only just for white people, huh? We matter for our people too. We have to respect our people. So this thing about Black Lives Matter, that's just a puppy show that they push in only when it pertains to white people. So he could have said then, short, tall, black, white, rich, poor. You understand? He shouldn't just stop there and gigi. No, we have to get serious. And Timothy, everybody has been saying that 2.5 is going to come right down to the poor, and it is true. What are they running away from? What are they afraid of? Timothy, another thing. School is coming to open. Up to now, my road has not been fixed, Timothy. The road still has all of those little stones where the children can fall on it. Kids are coming to school on top of the road. No sign saying it's a school down there. But school is coming to open. The road is still in a mess. That road was carpet until they came to build the school. And the Renault's trucks were just bursting it all the time. Wasco going into there all the time. Sometimes we don't have water. Today, it is the same way. Now, Timothy, you said something a while ago, and I said to myself, why did Tim say that? Timothy, you said to the guy, one of the guys, you said, you can call from now until doomsday, nothing will happen. But Timothy, your program is the best program on the island. And a lot happens when persons call your program. So don't tell anybody that it's not going to work. At one stage, something may pass, and whatever problem the person is going through, it might be alleviated. Sometimes we cannot keep our mouths shut. We have to speak. It's not just praying. Of course you can pray, but you cannot just pray and keep your mouth shut. You have to, if you know and you see something is wrong, you say it is wrong, and you have to continue saying it is wrong until it is corrected. So Tim, don't ever say anything.
Well, I think sometimes you could employ other methods. There are other avenues that we can utilize to address certain issues.
But you still pursue trying to put right what is wrong. You understand, Timothy? And if you just keep your mouth shut, Martin Luther King, if he had kept his mouth shut, you think the black Americans would be where they are today? No. There are persons that just have to go ahead, and you're not going to go ahead doing bad things. You have to do the good things to get the good coming out. Now, Timothy, one more thing. Timothy.
Yes, ma'am. I'm listening.
I said so much. I think never what you
Okay.
Anyway, Tim, when I remember, I'll call you back.
All right. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Kimani, the chat room. What's happening there?
Someone says, Tim, call Rick and ask him what he thinks of what the PM said. Someone else in the chat room says, St. Lucian, lives matter. Another comment, how can one tell kids not to make fun of people when the leader of the country is going so low? I'm embarrassed. Someone says, the people get the government they deserve. Another comment, Tim, how can anyone tell what percentage care about the CCJ? The government should at least do a survey. Tim, I disagree with you. Yan was one who actually had the gonads to challenge this in the courts. Demonstrations, calling the radio station, social media, all of these are ways for citizens to express their protest against government actions. Someone says, that's it in the chat room, Tim.
Okay. All right, 452-2979. We have it on the call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy.
You don't have to shout.
Timothy, it is all well and good for the Prime Minister to come and congratulate the investment of secrets which acquired the Morgan's Bay Hotel, Timothy. Quite a huge investment. They may have a few bungalows on the beach, Timothy. But what I'm really concerned about, this huge investment they're about to make, Timothy, is when it comes to the wages they're going to pay their staff, Timothy. The salaries, Timothy, 40% of St. Lucian's, 40,000 people are employed directly and indirectly in the tourism industry, Timothy. And you have the majority working for $2, $3 an hour, Timothy. This is unacceptable. Hotels come, they invest millions of dollars, and they pay their employees $2 to $3 an hour. Timothy, that is unacceptable. You understand? The government need to expedite the committee that they have put in place to look into the livable wage in St. Lucia, Timothy. We cannot have people working for such peanuts in the country, Timothy. We need to do something about it. I mean, Timothy, you know, a lot of people are complaining inflation is high, Timothy. Timothy, do you know the average solution has about 7 bills, Timothy? Let me mention them to you, Timothy. Let me highlight them to you. Water, electricity, internet, you have groceries, you have your medical bill, education, all these bills, Timothy, you understand, to deal with on a monthly basis, and rent. If you're not renting, you're paying a mortgage. This is still a bill. High cost of fuel. And Philip J. Pierre wants to make a mockery out of the high cost of living. Instead, he puts pressure on the committee he has selected, you understand, to come up with an affordable wage, a livable wage for the people of this country. If not, Timothy, we are all going to live from hand to mouth. You understand? There will be a huge gap between the rich and the poor. And then he comes out with the 2.5% levy on the backs of solutions again. And you have guys like Mr. Peter King, a weasel, coming to say that this is nothing. You understand? Mr. Peter King needs to wake up. This is a lot on the backs of solutions. The 2.5% levy. You know, I admire this lady, Nancy Charles, a month ago. She talked about, you understand, the 2.5% levy on the backs of solutions. This lady, Nancy Charles, is certainly a leader when it comes to the ladies in St. Lucia. A lot of them keep quiet. You understand? And then you have the health and security. You come out with a universal health care. What is in it for the men? Nothing for the men. Everything is for the women. And they even shot the women in the backs. They only give them ultrasound and what? What? Free air care? Are you for real? You think that's what we want? That was already free, as the lady said. An eye examination, it was already free. You're getting that free. What sense the government need to introduce that? It doesn't make sense. You know, the government of St. Lucia needs to wake up and give the people a full list of universal health care that covers every single health area in their life to make this country a healthy place.
Okay, caller. Thank you so much. Appreciate the contribution, sir. Somebody says there, OMG, oh my God, Tim, I'm beyond disgusted with the Prime Minister, and imagine I'm not political, but this schoolboy petty attitude is definitely not what we need to push St. Lucia forward. Another comment, Tim, I'm disgusted. What shameless, useless government. And so, all of a sudden now we're hearing that to be a successful government, you must construct a hotel. So we're not paying attention to carrying capacity, the number of visitors we should have to our shores, because the more visitors you have is the more of a strain it would put on your resources. Water in particular. People are calling NewsSpin to complain nearly every day to complain about the lack of potable water. You have a number of other resources that are being used by visitors when they come to our shores. So the tourism minister is boasting that this administration is just had this sword-turning ceremony and is opening hotels on the island, and therefore it appears that we should be thankful for that. That does not signify, construction of hotels does not signify that you are developing as a people or your people are benefiting from this directly. There was a time in the OECS, we felt, and I think economically we are still number one, but when you look at issues relating to the Human Development Index, I mean, St. Kitts ranks higher than St. Lucia. Those are the things that matter. Not about building high-rise buildings and how many hotels that you have. And, I mean, when you look at the hotels, yes, you have hotels creating employment, the working conditions, whether that is an issue, the pay that St. Lucians receive, whether that's an issue, that is not an issue for our governments, in this particular for the tourism minister. It is how many hotels that you can construct. You don't believe that there will come a time when we will have to consider whether we close our doors to visitors to our shores or reduce the number of visitors to our shores, or we will not be able to construct hotel after hotel after hotel on our island, particularly if we have to build them close to our beaches. Let's listen to Dr. Ernest Hilaire, Tourism Minister.
And if I want to say to you, and I want you to reflect on it, that for 5 years under the United Workers' Party, not one hotel was built in St. Lucia. Not one room was built. Think about it. The last hotels to be built in St. Lucia were Royalton and Harbour Club, which both started under the St. Lucia Labour Party.
Speaking yesterday during the Tuesday town hall meeting of the St. Lucia Labour Party. So now in a position to boast that, things are picking up after COVID-19. All of a sudden, increase in visitor arrivals and so on. But what was said a few years ago by a former tourism minister in St. Lucia?
The government is continuing as usual, as if nothing happened. St. Lucia, the government of St. Lucia is the only government that believes that tourism will get back to how it was pre-COVID. I think it's the only government in the world that believes that. There's no other government, I think, who believes that except the government of St. Lucia. So what do? We continue with business as usual. We continue to build an airport based on the fact that our airport would get its income from arrivals. Are you serious? Do you really believe that we're going to get a level of arrivals that we had when we did the sensitivity analysis for the building of that airport? Are you really serious? I mean, can we really sit down and say to ourselves that with the best will in the world, we are going to get the same level of arrivals in the country when we projected to borrow money from the airports?
Speaking in his capacity as the leader of the opposition during the reign of the previous administration. WhatsApp message. Tim, now we have a comedian prime minister with all the audience in the background. What's in the chat room, Kimani? Anything to report?
Someone says, no more Jack on my beach. Hotel building is now the best thing ever. Another comment, this is the same government that demonized tourism, hotels, and white people just to go after Alan Chastney. Tourism was once the worst thing for them. Someone says, Tim, I challenge you to call the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Grenada, Antigua, and others to ask why they are not taking advantage of the apparent error in the Constitution to leave the Privy Council, since their constitutions have a similar construction to ours. The Labour Party supporters are behaving like if the prices go down, it don't go down for them, like they're not paying the same high prices at the pump. Someone says, Tim, would it be cool if you could also highlight Julian Alfred's achievement of a bachelor's degree in youth and criminal studies? Could she be an all-round youth leader in St. Lucia? Not only is she taking sports to a whole new level for St. Lucia, but she may also be able to contribute to two areas that are lacking in St. Lucia, youth and criminal justice. So Julian Alfred will have much to offer the country for many years to come. Still in the chat room, someone is asking for Rick. Someone says, anyone who supports BJP and his administration, I can't read this comment. That is it in the chat room, Tim.
What's up, message? Young women were encouraged to make children and that ultrasounds would be free. The cost of living is high. How are the young ladies supposed to provide for these children? Are the ladies mature enough? Do they have patience? Children are abandoned by their parents. A few in many will become something in society and the rest become criminals. The government needs to know what it is encouraging women to do and put things in place.
Someone says, the young people of St. Lucia have no ambitions. If they did, by now a new election would be taking place. Do you agree, Tim?
New election? I mean, that is for the people to decide. The same way we had general elections just 2 years ago and the people decided. It is for the people to decide when it's time for elections to be called, what they should be doing in terms of voting for the government of their choice. As it stands now, I think people are very, based on their attitude, St. Lucians are very satisfied with the performance of this government.
Another comment, guess what happened under Alan Chastney? The highest number of locally owned Airbnb and villa hotel rooms in our local communities, benefiting local economies, hence Alan Chastney's village tourism. That is about it in the chat room, Tim.
All right, WhatsApp message. Tim, ask him about Sabusha Hotel. Up to now, nothing has happened. They just destroyed the beach. Where is the St. Lucia National Trust? And we have a final call. Good afternoon, NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hi, Timothy. It's me again.
Yes, ma'am.
What I wanted to tell you is I heard about the hotels which are supposed to be built, and there were no hotels built in 5 years. Timothy, with COVID, who would attempt to build a hotel?
But since when you judge a government
By
by
the
this,
hotels
by this,
that-
by the number of hotels that are constructed. Is that the only form of development that we know in our country?
One of the things I would like you to do, Timothy, is to find out from the opposition leader. Sometimes he explains it so very well. The opposition leader, find out from him what is his position on what the gentleman just said.
And as a matter of fact, somebody's telling me Serenity Hotel was built in 2017 among many refurbishments.
Yes.
But still, for that, I don't care how many hotels you build. That does not signify progress to me.
And
okay?
we're forgetting COVID, you know.
And
we are forgetting COVID.
And the profits generated by those hotels are normally sent overseas.
Yes,
all right?
very true. Very
all right.
true.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
Timothy, good day. Bye-bye.
All right, same to you. Finally, from us, we have our NewsSpin News of the Day. NewsSpin News of the Day. Jamaican migrant workers sent back from Ontario, Canada farm after exposing conditions. Jamaican migrant workers sent back from Ontario, Canada farm after exposing conditions. And that's your NewsSpin News of the Day. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Thank you so much for contributing via your calls and your WhatsApp messages and your discussions in the chat room. Thank you as well for sponsoring the broadcast. Join me this evening, 7 o'clock on DBS television for the DBS News World. 8:30 Newsmaker Live, my guest, the leader of the opposition, Alan Shastney. Goodbye.